So we've recently gotten some questions from all of you asking what kind of advice we would give to somebody just starting keto for the first time. Sarah and I are going to think back many moons ago when we first started keto and what we would have done differently to maximize weight loss and to really start off the mentality that you're going to need to be successful on keto. This video is sponsored by Element, and we're going to talk more about them later. So the first thing that we're going to explain to you guys is that there's a theory that I think Dr. Atkins came up with called the golden shot when it comes to keto. Pretty much stipulates that the first time that you do keto and you go into ketosis is the most weight that you're ever going to lose. So that's why they call it the golden shot. Like, this is the time to really maximize your weight loss and get off to a great start on this lifestyle. We don't have any more golden shots. It's over for us. But if you guys are just starting, you're thinking about starting, or you're in the midst of it right now, this is really the time to make it count. I think it has something to do with your body being so shocked because you're used to eating the standard American diet. I could easily eat 400 carbs a day before I started keto. So it's such a change that your body is shocked into dropping a significant amount of weight. I remember the first time I did keto, I was probably 16 years old. It was that long ago. And I think I probably lost 14 pounds in 1 week. And I remember that. I didn't even weigh that much. I was probably 230 pounds and I lost 14 pounds in a week. That's not all water weight, people. That is your golden shot.
So yeah, if this is your first time doing keto, you have the golden shot. But if this is your second, third, 100th, billionth time doing keto like us, don't worry about it. It's all going to even out in the end. Another tip to start off your journey on the right foot is to stick to whole foods. This means eating meat and a vegetable, pretty much. And fat, primarily. The more simple the meal, the better during this stage of your journey. This is really going to maximize weight loss for you because you're going to be lower on the carb scale. Many people try to hit their 20 net carb goal every day, like on the dot. Like, I have all these net carbs to use. I think that you should stick to being as low carb as possible in the beginning. For the first couple of months on keto, make sure to stick to whole foods. You can't go wrong.
Meat, fat, and a veggie.
Cheese.
I always use the thing steak and broccoli with butter on top of it.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. It's simple. It's delicious. Want to eat a salad? Throw some steak on top, a cold steak with some really nice, thick, creamy dressing. You just want to stay away in the beginning from stuff that you don't know what's in it. When I met my husband in 2003, we drove out about an hour away to go to this specialty food store. It was a low-carb store. I had never heard of anything like this before. I was so excited. I went there. I spent like $300 buying low-carb bagels and breads and desserts, and I did not stay on keto for very long after that. This goes back to the whole foods thing because now that we have so many options, it's harder to lose weight. Back in the day, you had less options, but it was easier to lose weight. It's not that we think that these things are bad. They're not. They're good. We tell you about the ones that we really like and that we incorporate, but you can't have this stuff every day. We always use the term that we've made up, 70-30. 70% of the time you eat whole foods, 30% of the time you have like indulgences, like low-carb keto indulgences to keep you going. But in the beginning, we really think you should go 100% whole foods for at least 4, 6, 8 weeks. If you do that, you are going to maximize your weight loss. You are going to change your palate. Your palate and your brain is going to be retrained to not constantly want carbs or sweets. It's like giving yourself a reset. If you never step away from all of the processed food, whether they're keto or not, in the beginning, then you're never going to give yourself a chance to taste what real food tastes like.
It's harder to detox from those things if you're replacing them with a carb-free option.
The other thing is about these keto-fied things, it's like, I hate to tell you guys not to have them because I have them from time to time, but if you really, really want to maximize weight loss, don't have them in the beginning.
The next tip that we would tell ourselves if we were starting keto all over again is about the keto flu. The keto flu is real, but it's not something that's so scary to stop you from doing keto.
Back when we started keto, we had no idea what the keto flu was or why it happened, and I wish that we would have had this stuff back then. Which brings us to today's sponsor, Element. You guys know we love this product. We drink it all the time. It is magic in a little packet. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything that you need and nothing that you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Element contains a science-backed ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium.
She didn't even pour me a cup.
Honestly though, nothing compares to this brand of electrolytes. So Element reached out to us and they are offering our viewers viewers, our Keto Twin fam, a sample pack containing one of each of their flavors so that you can try and pick out which one you like the most. All you have to do is pay shipping. So click on the link in the description below to get your sample pack of elements.
The reason why you need electrolytes during your ketogenic journey, especially during the beginning of it, is because when you're switching into ketosis, you lose a lot of water. And in that water are your electrolytes.
Throws off your electrolyte balance.
Pretty much. And you need to replace it somehow. I didn't know about this 10 years ago. I didn't know that the Keto Flu was that, but this has really helped us, especially after like a cheat day or something like that. Having electrolytes, oh my God, it helps take away the Keto Flu so that you don't feel those side effects. The Keto Flu is real, but it's not something to stop you from doing keto. I feel like I read so many times people are like, how do I stop the keto flu? Yeah, no, you're gonna be okay. Make sure to get your electrolytes, drink water, and you're gonna feel good. So if I could go back in time and talk to my previous self, another thing that I would talk about is to try to be more aware and understand how I feel while I'm on keto. So being aware of how you feel while you're eating carbs and then when you're in ketosis and the clarity and the energy that you feel, I feel like you should write it down. We're not people that journal at all, but it might be helpful for someone to start doing that in the beginning of their journey, because I feel like when your weight loss slows down, it's very hard to stay motivated. And having other benefits other than weight loss to stay on track and on your journey is going to help you get through those plateaus.
So I think the point that Sarah's trying to make is that we rarely are that traumatized by what we eat. I used to feel so sick when I would eat dinner. It stopped me from eating terribly the next day, right? On the other hand, when I eat white fish, I get very ill, like very sick. I have some kind of whitefish allergy. It developed when I was like 20 or so, and I didn't know that I had Sarah does not have a whitefish allergy, but I am punished. I am punished when I have it. I think fake lobster, that pollock stuff. Yeah, on Christmas, I had some fake lobster.
My bad.
It was the worst Christmas.
I should
it was
have
a
known
nightmare.
It was like
Christmas
$7
story.
for like 20 of those pieces. I should have known they weren't real lobster.
It was a nightmare before Christmas. But if we have that kind of reaction when we ate immediately, you would be scared enough away not to eat carbs, right? But it's more of like a gentle overall sickness feeling that you end up getting used to. You start living your life that way, where you live to be kind of never feeling right. And so I think that it's important, and if I told myself back in the day, like, remember how you feel when you eat crap. When you eat carbs, remember how you feel. Remember how you can't control yourself. It's not just about the weight. It's how mentally you feel. I always beat myself up about eating terribly, and I always ate like I was on death row, and that the world was coming to an end. It's
Every
the Last
meal
Supper. Every meal
that you have.
And yet afterwards, directly afterwards, I would be like, I just don't feel right. I don't feel good. But then the next day, I'm all ready to do it again, because it obviously wasn't that traumatizing. So I think it being more conscious about how you feel, I wish I could tell myself that you're going to feel so much better. And if you're only going to know that if you make note of it, so that you can remember 4 weeks later, wow, I feel totally different. Sarah and I, we were fortunate enough not to suffer from any ailments, pain. I mean, maybe some pains, aches and pains, but Sarah and I, we are pretty lucky in that regard, health-wise. We don't have any kind of health issues. There are so many people in our comment section that talk about their pain going away, like knee pain, arthritis, inflammation going down, that they're just able to walk more. And so these are all things that you should take note of before you start, so that you
can track those.
You can track those things and say, wow, if I go back to eating the way that I did, then this is going to be the result. I'm going to be right back there in pain, and you don't want to feel that way, right? So living your life more consciously, in the moment, aware, I think living that way can lead to an overall boost mentally and sustain you when the scale slows down or you stop losing inches for a little bit. Just remember about all the other positive aspects of this lifestyle. It's not just about vanity, and it's not just about losing weight. There's something more here. And I think a lot of people in the comments, if you read the comments, we get wonderful comments on this channel. People can attest to how amazing people feel when they are on this lifestyle for a couple months. It's like a total game changer, and they feel like brand new people. And that's always some of our favorite comments to read.
Because we feel the same way. We have more energy now than we did when we were in our 20s.
And we were fortunate enough to always be in very good health. But for some people, it's just night and day, the difference that they feel. And so definitely take note, live consciously of that so that you can have motivation to keep going. As we were coming up with the points of this video, one of the ones that really resonated with us is the fact that we never intended this as a lifestyle, especially when we were younger.
Emily and I have lost hundreds of pounds over the last 20 years, literally hundreds. And every single time we would have this goal in mind when we started keto. If I hit 160 pounds, I can't wait for that to happen. It was almost like keto was a prison sentence, and our release date was the day that we were going to reach those goals and be able to eat as many carbs as we were eating before we started keto.
As if you weren't going to have the same result.
Right. And you can't expect history to repeat itself. History repeated itself over and over and over again until we realized that this is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. So if I could have gone back to high school when we first started keto or low carb, I would tell myself, you're never going to be able to eat as many carbs as you are right now and not expect to gain everything back and more. And I know that's hard for people to hear, that this is a lifestyle. But I think it's also freeing because you're not going to fall off and regain everything and all that heartache. And you get so much attention when you lose weight, I feel like, and then you gain it back. And people are always like, oh, well, yeah,
what did you expect?
What did you expect doing keto? And it's because you didn't stay with it. Any person, any diet, if you go back to the way that you're eating before, you're going to gain the weight back and more. That's how it works. So I wish I could go back to high school and just say, this is forever and you have to stick with it. It's not like you can't ever eat carbs again, but
you will never be able
to eat the way that you want to eat and not gain the weight back.
And overall, you're going to have to sacrifice in order to keep the weight off. How can people expect to go back and magically just eat what they were eating before and not end up in the same exact spot? That's what we did. It didn't work out for us. And I think that it's not giving up. It's like coming to terms with the fact that I have a hard time saying no to this type of food. And so therefore, I can't have as many carbs in my life anymore. And if I want to be successful and be healthy and control my binge eating, then I need to
be in control most of
the time. Exactly. So Sarah said this in the last video, but it really made sense to me when she was like, it's not so dreadful.
You can make it a fun activity. It doesn't have to be so dreadful. I just feel like when people talk about keto, they're just like, oh my God, keto, my life is over.
Your life is not over because you've decided to try
but it feels that way. I feel like it feels that way in the beginning. Like when you wake up the first day you're on keto, like the sky is gray and you don't want to get out of bed, and just releasing that and being like, it's okay. Every day I'm going to take every day one day at a time. Focus on other stuff. Like we talk about that all the time, having hobbies that are not related around food. And just there's more to life than food.
When I was growing up, I was so obsessed with losing weight that I actually pondered what I would use my brain power to think about if I actually had ever lost the weight. Because I thought about losing weight and obsessed about how fat I was over and over and over. Oh, I'm going on vacation on this day, and if I want to lose this amount of weight, I have this amount of time. Of course, none of that led to anything. It was just what I thought about, obsessed about. Basically, when I started to move away of that line of thinking, and it's funny, I'm not really obsessed with weight loss anymore. If you lose weight and you think that that's the only thing that's keeping you from being happy and doing everything that you've ever wanted to do in your life, I wish I could have told myself back then that your weight is a little bit of the equation, but there's a lot more going on. So those are just some of the things that we would have told ourselves back in the day. But we would love to know in the comment section what you would tell yourself if you had to give yourself advice before starting keto for the first time. I think that this type of information, when you guys read each other's comments and we all interact with each other, it really gives some insight and advice that people are really longing for. So make sure to leave a comment below.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us with the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe for more keto lifestyle content. And thank you so much to Element for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to get your sample pack. Click the link in the description. All you have to do is pay for shipping. Anyway, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are the Keto Twins, signing out.